She giggled as she reached out to pet the canine, thinking he was just another good boy in uniform. But before her fingers even left his fur, the dog spun around and lunged, straight at the man standing quietly beside her. Everyone screamed. What had the dog sensed? And why did he go from calm to attack in a heartbeat? Ridgeland wasn't the kind of place where things went wrong. It was the kind of town where you left your door unlocked at night, where neighbors borrowed sugar and actually returned it, where sirens were rare, and crime was something people read about in the next county over. But on one sunny Saturday afternoon, all of that changed. The town was gathered for its annual Community Heroes Day, a celebration that brought everyone together to honor their local first responders. It was wholesome, warm-hearted, and filled with the kinds of memories kids carried for life. There were fire trucks gleaming under the sun, booths with face painting and badge stickers, and a barbecue station that could be smelled from 2 blocks away. But the biggest attraction? Titan, a 4-year-old Belgian Malinois. Not just any police dog. Titan was a local legend, trained beyond perfection, known for his loyalty, discipline, and uncanny instincts. He was the kind of dog that could search a house in seconds, disarm a suspect with a single command, and still let toddlers tug on his ears without flinching. And standing next to him, as always, was Officer Carter Hayes, his handler and partner. Hayes wasn't flashy. He didn't smile for cameras, but when it came to working with Titan, they moved like a single mind in 2 bodies. Everyone said they shared a bond you couldn't teach, only earn. That afternoon, Titan sat calmly beneath a shade tree, wearing his usual vest, Police K9, do not pet. But for the event, a softer sign was clipped to his leash. You may approach with care. Families lined up, kids waited for photos, parents took videos for social media. Titan never budged. His ears were up, his posture perfect. He was every bit the living example of discipline and grace. And then came Lily, just 9 years old, freckles, bright eyes, and a sticker on her shirt that said, I love dogs. She'd been in line for 15 minutes, clutching her mom's hand, bouncing in place with excitement. When her turn came, she stepped forward with a huge grin. Hi, Titan, she said sweetly. You're such a good boy. Officer Hayes gave her a small nod, just gently on his back, nice and slow. Lily crouched, reached out, and petted him exactly as told. Titan didn't react. He sat still, his eyes focused forward, calm, but something was off. His ears twitched. Then he stood, not abruptly, not aggressively, but with purpose. And then he moved, not toward Lily. In front of her, he placed himself between her and someone behind her in the crowd, shielding her. Officer Hayes blinked. This wasn't like Titan. Then he saw the man, plain clothes, late 30s, short beard, nothing special, just standing there, too close. Hayes spoke sharply. Sir, I need you to take a step back. The man raised his eyebrows as if startled. Oh, sure, no problem. But he didn't move. Titan growled, a deep guttural sound, the kind that came from his chest and crawled across the air. The crowd sensed it. Parents tensed. Kids fell quiet. And before anyone could blink, Titan lunged. 1 second, the leash was tight in Hayes' grip. The next, it was slack, and Titan had exploded forward. He crashed into the man like a missile, knocking him down in one thunderous hit. The sound echoed. Screams broke out. Children cried. Lily's mother pulled her back in a panic. Titan was on top of the man, not tearing, not biting, holding him down, barking into his face with thunderous ferocity. Officers nearby rushed forward. Titan out. Hayes yelled. Out. Titan didn't budge. Only when Hayes physically grabbed him by the harness and yanked him back did he let go. The park was dead silent. The man stayed on the ground, eyes wide, gasping for air. I didn't do anything, he yelled. I didn't even touch her. Nobody had said he did, but Titan knew something. The man was taken into custody. No ID, no clear answers, just vague stories about being from out of town. But there were things that didn't add up. He had stood in line for no reason, taken no photos, approached no booths, bought nothing, spoken to no one. He had just stood behind children, watching. Hayes stared at Titan later that night, replaying the moment again and again. He knew his partner, knew every twitch, every sound. Titan wasn't wrong. A few hours later, the fingerprints came back from the national database, and everything changed. The man had 2 outstanding warrants, one for assault, the other, attempted child abduction. 8 months earlier, from a park in Tennessee, Titan hadn't attacked an innocent man. He had stopped a predator who thought he was invisible, until a dog saw right through him. Titan had saved Lily, and no one would ever see him the same way again. The entire park was still buzzing from what had just happened, though a heavy silence had replaced the earlier sounds of music and laughter. It wasn't the kind of silence that came from peace. It was the kind that came after something terrifying. Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd as parents held their children a little closer, as if the ground beneath them had just proved unsteady. Officer Hayes stood over the man that Titan had attacked, breathing hard but composed. Titan was now leashed, sitting again, but his eyes didn't leave the man on the grass. He wasn't growling. He wasn't barking. He was just staring. That alone was enough to send chills down Hayes' spine. He knew his partner better than anyone. Titan wasn't just trained. He was trusted. And for him to break from protocol so dramatically, there had to be a reason. The man lay on the ground, holding his arm, which had clearly taken most of the impact. "I didn't do anything," he said again, voice shaking. Officer Amanda Ruiz was the first to approach, kneeling beside Hayes. "Who is he?" she asked under her breath. Hayes shook his head. "No clue. Didn't see him in line. He just appeared." Amanda looked at Titan, then back at the man. "Maybe he had a weapon." "Checked," Hayes replied, already having done a pat-down the moment he restrained the man. "No weapon. No ID either." That was the first red flag. Officer Amanda stood up, brushing grass from her knee. "No ID, no wallet, no phone, nothing?" "Nothing," Hayes confirmed. "Not even a key." She exhaled sharply. That wasn't just unusual. That was suspicious. Nearby, paramedics approached, but the man refused treatment. "I'm fine. Just got startled. That dog went nuts." Hayes gave him a long look. "That dog doesn't go nuts. He's trained better than most people." "I wasn't doing anything wrong," the man snapped, his tone shifting slightly, just enough to be noticed. "Then you won't mind answering a few questions," Amanda said, gesturing toward the officer's tent. The man hesitated. "I'd rather not." Hayes narrowed his eyes. That hesitation told him more than any words could. "Sir, I'm going to need you to come with us. You're not under arrest, but until we figure out what caused Titan's reaction, we can't let you leave." The man's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Fine." Titan stood again as the man moved, his entire body tense. Hayes held the leash tightly. He felt it. Titan was ready again, still locked onto something. A scent, a signal, something that Hayes couldn't see, but the dog could sense. As they walked the man over to the officer tent, a quiet conversation began behind them. Parents whispered. Kids clutched their stuffed animals tighter. It was like a ripple, starting small, then spreading fast. Why did the dog do that? Did the guy hurt the little girl? Was he a bad man? Inside the tent, the man sat down. Amanda began noting details. No ID, Caucasian, mid-30s, brown eyes, approximately 5 feet 11 inches, thin build, nervous but not outwardly aggressive. Hayes stayed silent, watching Titan, still locked in. No shifting, no relaxing. Titan was never like this unless he knew. Unless something, or someone, was dangerous. Outside, Lily sat on a blanket with her mother. She was visibly shaken, but not crying. She kept asking the same question. Why did Titan jump on him? Her mom tried her best. Maybe Titan thought something was wrong, but he didn't bite anyone else, Lily said softly. Only that man. Lily's mom didn't have an answer. Back inside the tent, Amanda started asking questions. What's your name? The man hesitated again. Jason. Full name. He paused, then said, Jason Miller. Amanda wrote it down but shot a glance at Hayes. She didn't believe him either. And where are you from, Mr. Miller? Out of town. Where exactly? South Dakota. Visiting family? No. Why are you here then? Jason shrugged. Just passing through. His answers were too quick, too vague, and there was something off about his eyes, like he was calculating, not confused. Amanda noticed it. Hayes noticed it. And Titan definitely noticed it. I'm going to run your name, Amanda said. Hang tight. She stepped outside, pulling her phone. Hayes followed. Do you believe anything he's saying? She asked. Nope. Amanda tapped into a national law enforcement database, entered the name Jason Miller. A dozen results came up, but none matched the man inside. She tried running a facial recognition snapshot through her tablet's connected scanner. While it loaded, Hayes paced. I've been working with Titan for 3 years, he said. He's never done this. Ever. Amanda nodded. Then we trust him. Period. They waited. Then the tablet pinged. Match found. Name, Kyle Brentford. Age, 36. Wanted in connection with 3 investigations in Colorado. One involving the attempted abduction of a minor. Amanda's blood ran cold. Amanda's hand trembled slightly as she handed the tablet to Hayes. Take a look. He scanned the information quickly, his stomach twisting. This wasn't just a random guy. Kyle Brentford was a person of high interest in multiple cases. One of them recent, and horrifying. He had allegedly approached a 10-year-old girl at a playground in Colorado Springs just 6 weeks earlier. He didn't take her, but the girl said something chilling afterward. He smiled, but his eyes weren't smiling. Witnesses said Kyle fled the scene before anyone could stop him. No plates, no ID, just vanished. Until now. Hayes looked at Amanda, then back toward the tent where Kyle, no, Brentford, sat calmly, pretending to be harmless. Titan knew, Hayes muttered. He picked him out of a crowd. No hesitation. Amanda's jaw clenched. And Lily, she was right there. They moved quickly, back into the tent. Hayes kept Titan back, though the dog strained slightly on the leash, eyes still burning into Brentford. Amanda sat across from him and placed a tablet on the table. Is your name really Jason Miller? He looked at the screen, and for a split second, his eyes widened, but it vanished fast, replaced with a crooked smile. You got the wrong guy. Amanda leaned forward. You sure? Brentford shrugged. You cops always think you know everything. No, Hayes said quietly, but he does. He nodded to Titan. Brentford's eyes shifted, just for a moment, just enough to show fear. Amanda continued. Kyle Brentford, you're wanted for questioning in 3 different cases, including an attempted abduction. Silence. You're not under arrest yet, but we're holding you for identification and further investigation. Brentford smirked, leaned back in his chair. You have no proof I did anything. You're right, Amanda said coolly. Not yet, but we're working on it. As Brentford sat in custody, Hayes walked Titan around the park's perimeter. The event had been paused temporarily. Officers were securing the area. Most families had already left, not wanting to risk staying with so much unknown. Lily and her mom, however, were still there, waiting, watching. When Hayes walked by, Lily stood and approached quietly. Officer Hayes? He stopped. Yes, sweetheart. Is Titan okay? Hayes smiled gently. He's more than okay. He's a hero. Lily nodded. I thought so. Her mom placed a hand on her shoulder. She told me, right after it happened, that she felt like Titan was protecting her. Hayes knelt beside the girl. That's exactly what he was doing. Lily looked down at Titan, who now sat calmly beside Hayes, panting softly. Can I say thank you? Of course. She reached out again, gently, just like before. This time Titan licked her hand and let out a small woof. Lily giggled. It was the first smile Hayes had seen since the incident. The interrogation room was cold, not because of the air conditioning. It was the way Brentford sat there, unervingly calm. His hands were cuffed, but his eyes were calculating, like he was still in control somehow. Detective Amanda Reyes entered first, a file in her hands. Officer Hayes followed, his jaw tight, shoulders tense. They didn't sit. They just looked at Brentford. I heard the kid's okay, Brentford said casually, as if he were commenting on the weather. Hayes stepped forward. You were never after the dog, were you? Brentford smiled. It's funny, isn't it? Everyone focuses on the dog. No one notices the guy just standing there. That answer, as vague as it was, sent a chill down Amanda's spine. She opened the file. We know your real name. We know about Colorado. We know about Texas. You disappear after every incident. You never leave a pattern. Until today. Brentford tilted his head. I didn't touch anyone. But you didn't need to, Amanda said, voice steady. You were close. Watching. Waiting. Hayes leaned forward. You chose the perfect spot. A crowded park. Distractions everywhere. A little girl in front of you. But what you didn't count on was Titan. Brentford's smirk faded, just slightly. Enough to see a crack in his mask. You can't prove anything, he muttered. Amanda laid a printed photo on the table. It was a screenshot from park surveillance, showing Brentford, just inches behind Lily, his hand slightly extended. Hayes spoke softly. Titan didn't guess. He didn't guess when to act. He knew. Brentford stared at the photo, didn't say a word, but in that silence they knew. They were getting closer. Let me know if you'd like me to continue with the climax/key moment or add more layers to this development. The sun had set on Ridgeland, but the day's events were far from over. In the quiet of Officer Hayes' living room, Titan stirred from his nap, his ears perked up, nose twitching toward the front door even before the knock came. Hayes looked over, eyebrows furrowed. It was past 9 p.m. When he opened the door. Detective Amanda stood there, her face flushed, not from the heat, but from something else, something urgent. We got the warrant, she said breathlessly. You need to come with me. Now. Hayes didn't even ask where. He grabbed his jacket and Titan's leash, and within minutes, they were back in Amanda's unmarked cruiser, heading to an address on the edge of town, a rented storage unit Brentford had listed under an alias. As they pulled up, officers were already on site. Yellow tape was going up. Forensics trucks were backing in. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation and dread. Unit number 19. Plain, rust-colored door. No sign of anything unusual from the outside, but what lay inside? Hayes watched as the lock was cut. The door lifted with a metallic clang, and a wave of cold air hit them from the darkness inside. Then came the smell. Even Titan tensed, his body alert, tail stiff, head low. What they saw inside made even the toughest officers fall silent. The inside of unit number 19 looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Dust-covered crates stacked neatly against the walls, an old metal desk pushed to the side, and scattered papers that looked like receipts or shipping labels. But it wasn't the junk that caught everyone's attention. It was the smell, not of rot or garbage, but something sterile, chemical, too clean, like someone had tried to erase every trace of what had been done here. Titan let out a low growl. Hayes had seen him growl at suspects before, but this was different. This wasn't warning. This was memory, a reaction deep in Titan's bones. He paced, nose to the floor, tail stiff, growling louder. His eyes locked on a back wall. "Over there," Hayes said, pointing. "He's onto something." A forensic tech walked over, scanned the wall with a UV light, and froze. Glowing streaks appeared, faint but there. Fingerprints, smears, a handprint that dragged downward, as if someone had been pulled. Behind that wall was another door, smaller, hidden. "Open it," Amanda ordered. A crowbar came out, the false panel peeled away, and what they found inside that hidden room made time stand still. A metal chair with leather straps on the arms and legs, worn padding, a broken camera mounted in the corner, evidence bags scattered across the floor. One bag held a child's sock, another, what looked like a broken collar. The room wasn't just a storage space, it was a chamber. Titan barked, a single, sharp bark that echoed off the walls. Then he moved, nose to a crate tucked in the corner. He sat beside it, growling low again. "Something's inside," Hayes whispered. The lid was pried open. Inside, photos, dozens, maybe hundreds, children, parks, public places. Every photo had Brentford in the background, never the focus, always just behind someone, watching, waiting. Then Amanda picked up one final photo, Lily, from that very morning, her bright smile, her little "I love dog" sticker. Brentford was behind her in the image, half-shadowed, eyes staring dead into the lens, like he knew the photo was being taken and didn't care. Hayes swallowed hard. This wasn't random. Amanda nodded slowly. He was planning something bigger. Suddenly, Titan barked again, this time facing the wall, claws scraping against the concrete. Another hidden space, and behind it, a small USB drive, taped to the wall. Evidence, maybe even proof of what Brentford had done, or what he had planned to do. Amanda clutched the drive like it was gold. Titan, still pacing, didn't relax until they stepped out of the unit. The moment they hit the fresh air, he exhaled, sat beside Hayes, and nudged his hand with his nose, like saying, "You needed to see that," like saying, "Now you understand." Brentford was taken into custody within the hour. The evidence inside unit number 19, combined with the photos, the hidden USB drive, and Titan's unmistakable alert behavior, left no room for doubt. Investigators pieced together a horrifying picture. Brentford had been stalking public parks and community events for over 2 years, blending in quietly, always in the background, watching, choosing. But the most terrifying part? He had never been caught. Not once. No charges. No arrests. Just whispers. And now proof. And if it hadn't been for Titan, he might have vanished back into the crowd that very day, with Lily's photo in his pocket, and plans no one would have discovered until it was too late. Officer Hayes sat beside Titan outside the police station that night, watching the last of the news vans pack up. Titan rested his chin on Hayes' knee, finally calm. "You saved her," Hayes said softly, scratching behind his ears. "You knew something we didn't." Titan's ears flicked, and for a second, it felt like he understood every word. And in truth, maybe he did. Dogs like Titan aren't just trained for obedience or aggression. They're trained to sense, to feel, to protect. And on that day, Titan didn't just follow a command, he followed instinct, one that saved a life. As for Lily, she had no idea just how close she'd come to danger. To her, Titan would always be the good boy who jumped in front of her. She drew him a picture that night, him, and Officer Hayes, standing in the park with big hearts around them. She gave it to the precinct the next day, with a note written in crayon, "Thank you for saving me." It was framed and hung in the hallway, just outside the K9 unit room, because heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and sometimes they have 4 legs and a badge on their collar. Watch our next story if you believe animals have a sixth sense humans can't even begin to understand.